Looking at 7.7 today, that is simple and compound interest, and you will notice that I spelled compound wrong on here. The spell check didn't catch it, or if it did, I was not paying attention. It is compound, C-O-M-P-O-U-N-D. Okay, so there's some words we need to kind of be aware of, not necessarily know the definitions, but be aware of them because we're going to be using these today. Interest, and these are all found in your book. I'm just going to say them and we'll move on. The amount earned or paid for the use of money. You deposit money in the bank, you earn interest. You borrow money from the bank, you have to pay the bank interest. Okay, principal is the amount of money deposited or borrowed. So I take $50 to the bank, I put it into an account. I start a savings account with $50. That is the principal, $50. Simple interest, interest that is earned or paid only on the principal. Okay, so simple interest is interest, but we have two different kinds of interest, simple and compound. Compound is interest that is earned both on the principal that you put in and any interest that has been previously earned. So it just kind of starts adding up over time. Okay. Annual interest rate, that's the percent of the principal earned or paid per year. So it's a percent, and it's paid per year. Okay. And this is important, not monthly, it's yearly. Okay. Balance is the sum of the principal and the interest. That means I started a savings account 2 years ago. I called the bank now and said, how much is in the account? They're going to give me the balance. It's going to be what I put in plus the interest I've earned up to that moment. So that's balance. Okay? Our first formula we're looking at today is this one, a simple interest formula. The I is interest, simple interest. P is, capital P is principal. You'll see that here. Little r is interest rate or the annual interest rate, and little t is time. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to just set these up. These are very simple problems. We're just going to figure out the simple interest. And you'll notice in these, it is asking for simple interest. Okay, right here, you'll see simple interest. So you know what formula to use. So again, I equals capital PRT. So we're going to pick the parts out. We got this, this, and this. Capital P is a principal. That's $1,500. Okay, R is the rate. I've got to change it to a decimal, so it's 0.04. And then time is t, and t is time in years, so that's going to be 2. And so if I will multiply those three things out, let me get a calculator. I've got 1,500 times 0.04 times 2, and that's going to equal $120. So I've earned $120 interest on this. So for an example, let's say I called the bank and found out how much money I had in the account, the balance. Well, the balance is how much I put in plus how much I've earned. So what do I have in there now? This is not asking that, but I'm just going to look at it. So I've got 1,620, right? I just added the interest earned to the amount of money I put in. So that's the balance. But what they were asking for was this. Okay, let's do the next one. I've got $1,000 for the principal, capital P. The rate is 0.06. The time is 4 years. Okay, I'm just going to multiply those things together. So I've got 4,000 times 0.06. That's going to be $240. Okay, what would be my account balance if I earned $240? Well, if I called in, the bank would say, you got $1,240 in your account. So that would be the balance. Next one, we're actually going to find the account balance. Again, it's just what we were doing. We were adding the principal to the interest we found. Notice that this is the same formula we just used for interest, and we just add the principal to it, and we get the account balance. A stands for account balance, and this is for simple interest only. Simple interest only. Okay, so let's figure this out. Suppose you save $1,400 of your pay and deposit it into an account. Okay, that's the initial deposit. That is called the principal, $1,400. Notice the principal is 2 places here, plus 1,400. Okay, now we got to find the rate, which is little r. 9 months. Well, it's supposed to be in years. So how can we put that into years? Well, 9 out of 12 is 3 out of 4, which is 0.75. Okay, then the time, I'm sorry, that's time. The rate, we need the rate. I'm just a little, oh, we're actually finding the rate. Okay, so the rate is R. This is the account balance, 1421. Okay, so in this case, we've got the account balance A, we've got the principal, and then we've got the time in years, and we've got the rate. Now, obviously, in the formula, these two are switched. I just got out of order, but still, this will be good. So I'm going to solve this algebraically. I'm going to multiply these two things together. So it's $1,400 times 0.75, and that gives me 1050. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this. 1421 equals 1400 plus 1050 R. Now notice 1050 is the coefficient of R. I can't add 1400 and 1050. These are not like terms. This is kind of like 1050x plus 1400 equals this. This is a two-step equation. I subtract 1400 from both sides. Okay, it's going to give me 21 equals 1050R. I'm going to divide both sides by 1050, and let's see what that gets us. 0.02. Well, 0.02 is how much in percent? 2%. So the rate is 2%. So I used this account balance formula. They gave me the account balance, they gave me the principal, they gave me the time in months. I had to change that to years. That's a good line. But then I had to find R. Okay, and I had to do that algebraically. Let's look at another problem. Okay, let's find this using the account balance formula. So A is equal to P plus PRT. Okay, well A is A, obviously. We're looking for A, so that's good, that's easy. Well, P is 1,000 plus, well, P goes there again, times the rate, which is 0.025, and the time is 2 years. So I'm going to multiply this together, add it to that, and that is going to give me A. So 1,000 times 2 times 0.025, and I'm going to add that to 1,000, and that's going to give me $1,050. So my account balance after 2 years in this account, earning 2.5% interest, is $1,050. Next one, I'm looking for P. This is a little different. I'm given A, that goes here. So I got 1424.5 equals P, I don't know that, so I'm going to leave it P, plus P, I still don't know that. Then the rate is 0.035. The time is 6 months. Well, this is not, I can't use 6 because this is months. It's 0.5, it's half a year. So I've got to use that. Okay? First, I'm going to multiply these two things. So 0.035 times 0.5. That is 0.0175. So P 0.0175 plus P equals 1424.50. Okay, now here's what we need to notice. This and this are like, these are like terms. This is the coefficient of P. In other words, I need to think of it as 0.0175P. Okay, what is the coefficient of this P over here? Well, it's 1. If you don't see a coefficient of a variable, it's always 1. Well, how can we figure this out? How can we add these two? Because these are like terms. This is AP and this is AP. So they're like terms. So to add them, I add the coefficients. This is the coefficient of this one. This is coefficient of this one. So it's just 1.0175 P equals 1424.50. So if I divide this out, 1424, I'm solving, divided by 1.0175, I get 1400. P is equal to 1400. Okay? Just use a little bit of my algebraic knowledge to solve for P. Next one, we're going to new formula here. This is for compound interest, and this is going to be easy. It's not hard. I think the last one we did was probably the hardest one you'll do. Okay, but we're going to find the account balance. This is the principal. This is a 1 always, plus always. R is the rate, and T is the exponent, which is time in years. So let's figure this out. We're going to use this formula for this one. The principal is $1,500. 1 plus, what's the rate? 0.024. The time is 6 years. That's the exponent. So the way I have to do this with my calculator, I have to add these two. Okay, I'm adding these two numbers. I'm going to raise it to the 6th power and then multiply it by 1,500. So I get 1.024. I raise it to the 6th power with my exponent button. I hit equals. That gives me 1.1529 blah, blah, blah. I'm going to multiply that by 1,500, and I get 17.29 Okay, let's do this one. Principal $700. Put that there. I got 1 plus. The rate is 0.02. The time is 4 years. That's my exponent. So I've got to add these two first. So on my calculator, it's just going to be 1.02 If you want to add them, that's fine. Okay, but you need to hit equal sign. If you do add them, you need to hit 1 plus 0.02 and then hit equals. Okay, then you need to raise that, hit your exponent button and then enter 4, then hit equals, and I get 1.0824 blah blah blah. I'm going to multiply that by 700, and that's going to be $757.70. Okay, I think we got one more page. Okay, here we're going to find, let's see, what does it say? Find an account that earns, for an account that earns, I'm sorry, simple interest, annual interest, find the interest and the balance on the account. So we're going to find I, which is the interest, and we're going to find A, the balance. This is what we did at the beginning. This is simple interest. So remember, we had simple interest formula was I equals PRT. Then the account balance was A equals P plus PRT. So let's find the interest first. The interest is found by multiplying the principal to the rate to the time. So I'm going to have 500 times 0.07 times 4. That's $140. $140. Well, the account balance is found by adding the principal to the interest. So the principal and the interest, 500 plus 140 is $640. Okay, done. Next one, let's find the interest. Well, that's the principal times the rate times the time. 2,500 times 0.03 times. Okay, now notice that that's in months. So we've got to change this to years, and 9 months is 0.75 years. So multiply that by 0.75. That equals 56.25. Okay, when I add this to this, that's the interest. The account balance is, okay, 25, 56, and 25. Just added those two together. Okay, and that is it for today.